So that was one hell of an NBA trade deadline right there. I mean, maybe the most chaotic of all time, at least that I can remember.
Super Bowl week. Everyone's talking about how the NBA is dead, and we have not heard a peep about the Super Bowl because the NBA this past week has just been madness.
Chains snatched right there. Before we start talking about the NBA trade deadline, if you haven't already, make sure to leave this video a like, give us a subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on one of our videos. But first, a word from the sponsor of today's video, Factor. Factor offers fresh, never frozen meals that are ready to eat in only a couple of minutes, and boy does that come in handy. Like this past week, Ben and I spent like 3+ hours switching out some parts on my computer, only to get to the part where we needed to remove the CPU, and...
Alright, just whip out that screwdriver.
What?
The special screwdriver we need to take out the CPU.
So at this point, we're both pissed, and we go upstairs, we're watching some hoops, and we realize that we're both actually starving. Now, we don't want to cook, because again, we're gassed. And ordering takeout in this economy? I don't think so. So thank God we had our Factor meals. You just poke a few holes in the film, throw it in the microwave, and 2 minutes later, you're ready to eat. Factor offers 35 meals to choose from every week, so no matter what your tastes are,
it has a little something for everyone.
And with Factor, there's no cleanup, so I can get right back to working on my computer. So if you want to enjoy some delicious, fresh, and never frozen meals, head to Factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50synthetic to get 50% off your first Factor box. Once again, that's Factor75.com and use code 50synthetic for 50% off your first Factor box. And thank you again to Factor for sponsoring today's video. So all this like NBA trade mania got kicked off on Saturday with the Luka Doncic to the Lakers trade. We already have a video on it, so we won't spend too terribly much time on it, but we wanted to touch on it again because it's very obviously the biggest story from the trade deadline. It's been almost a week. It still doesn't feel real. I think it's still a trade that Dallas is going to look back on in 10, 15 years and regret with all their soul. Like, I know people are hitting out at Nico Harrison, and yeah, he's a idiot, but also like I got some scorn for the Mavericks ownership, like this new ownership group post Mark Cuban, because if I owned the Mavericks and my GM came to me and said, hey, I want to trade Luka Doncic, I'm firing that man on the spot. Like, I don't need to hear the reasoning, nothing else. You come to me with that proposal, I can never trust your ability to evaluate talent again till the end of time.
Honestly, this helps Mark Cuban's legacy because no effing shot he would have approved this trade.
He said he would divorce his wife before he did that.
Exactly. Like, I'm a little bit tinfoil hat with the owners because like the casino money, the Vegas thing, I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit weird about that. I don't know if it was like the theory is to tank the team to try and move it, or they just want to save the money, not pay Luka the supermax. But another thing on that note, in the interview, I'm watching the press conference, they asked Luka, like, is there any indication you wouldn't have signed the supermax? And he's like, no, I would have signed that shit.
Exactly.
Oh my God. I can't. I'm so hyped for the debut. It could apparently be soon. It could apparently be tomorrow on Saturday. I heard a report that. I'm not sure when it's going to be, but get the popcorn ready. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and if they save it for the first game after the All-Star break.
Yes,
it's
sir.
on the road in Portland. We were there for LeBron's Laker debut, and we'll be there for Luka's. So only a day after the Luka trade, we had another massive trade go down when the Kings sent De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs in a 3-team deal that also included the Chicago Bulls. Trade netted the Kings Zach Lavine, Sidi Sissoko, and 3 first-round picks. Bulls got Kevin Huerter, Zach Collins, and a 2025 first-round pick. Gotta say, I just feel really bad for the Kings. Like, they finally get some semblance of relevancy after like 15 years of misery, and now their young star is on the way to San Antonio.
Yeah, we're both like these West Coast small markets. Both of our point guards just got traded. Both the other teams on the West Coast, the big markets, just got these superstars.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely feel for them. And yeah, they're probably going to have to restart here soon. Like Lavine, DeRozan, Sabonis.
It's the Sacramento Bulls at this point.
Yeah, that is disrespectful to Sabonis,
It
but
is, yeah.
You're 100% right. Like in the Western Conference, you're not going to do much with that. But enough feeling sad about the Kings. From the Spurs side, like this is amazing. You get Fox, Fox, a young guard. He can give you like 24 points a night, can shoot the ball. I was watching just his first game against the Hawks. Like, he's setting up his teammates, just adds a shot creator, another guy who can score, obviously. It's just something they didn't have. Like, sure, they had Chris Paul, but you're not respecting his scoring ability too much. Fox is everything they needed. They can push for the play-in this year. They're set for the next 5-7 years. Perfect trade for them. They didn't give up a ton of assets. Sure, they gave up some picks, but just a home run trade for the San Antonio Spurs. You keep Castle, you don't give him up.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And you only hand over one of your own first round picks, and the other ones you send out, I mean, you send out a protected Charlotte pick. So, it's not going to convey this coming year because it's what, like top 10, top 14 protected, something like that?
Yeah,
so
that's not coming.
Charlotte, unless they go on the run of a lifetime,
Right.
right? And you send out a 2031 Minnesota first round pick, which who knows
Yeah,
at this
it could
point.
be good if they decide, we'll trade our young star.
Yeah,
who knows?
We'll trade Anthony Edwards to Miami for Tyler Hero.
And then you got the Bulls who finally traded Lavine. Like we've been saying that you need to get rid of him.
Yeah, but they did it 2 years too late, so they got fuck all for him.
Zach Collins, done with him. No hate, but I mean, we drafted Zach in the lottery. Didn't turn out to be much.
I was saying bring him home, but you were like vehemently, you didn't.
No, I love Zach when he's here. Enough talk about the Blazers. We need to get on from this, but yeah, not a player that I really expect much from at this point in his career. Trey Jones, nice backup point guard. Kevin Huerter. It sounds like they're looking to move all of them immediately. I think that's mostly smart, and you get your own pick back. Like, at least you get something, but just bad business from the Bulls. If you look at all the players they brought in and then what they got back from them, DeRozan, Lavine, just basically nothing. Caruso, they let walk. God.
Yeah, I mean, great trade for the Spurs. Feel bad for the Kings. Can't be bothered to care about Chicago, honestly.
And then, of course, we're getting another huge trade. It's Jimmy Butler going to the Warriors, a move we both kind of called, or at least we said needed to happen in the New Year's resolution video. I mean, rumors have been swirling around Jimmy Butler for months. He was supposed to be the big star in this trade deadline, but of course, the Luka thing happened. I am kind of shocked it happened. I mean, of course, Golden State, all the reports were they were super desperate. They were looking to get KD, but at the same time, I think from both sides, there was desperation. Like from the Warriors side, they just saw the Lakers get Luka.
Yeah.
They saw the Spurs who were fighting in the play-in with them get Fox. They needed to make a move. And then from Jimmy Butler's side, yes, I think like a couple days before this happened, he said basically he wasn't going to sign an extension there. He realized he wasn't going to Phoenix, so it ended up happening.
Yeah, I mean, for the last 2 months, it's been like Butler has shut down everything except for Phoenix. Like there was a report that came out, like he had shut down multiple trades to contenders because he was so dead set on Phoenix, but I think you're right. I think he saw the writing on the wall. He's like, there's less than 24 hours to the trade deadline. Like Bradley Beal has said he's not waiving his no trade clause. So it wasn't going to happen, and he took the next best thing, which is Golden State. He did get his money, and that I think is a good thing if you're the Warriors because, Jimmy can be a little temperamental if he's not getting his way. So you hope, you give him his money. It's only a 2-year extension. It's not a 4-year extension. So you're not committed to him forever. And you think, he comes into the team, motivated, ready to prove everyone wrong that he's still, playoff Jimmy. And you really didn't have to give up too much. I mean, you give up Wiggins, who is a good role player, shooting above 40% from 3, good for like 17 points a night, can play defense. Schroeder, who you traded for earlier in the season, has done fuck all for you so far. And then Kyle Anderson, who you're just not really playing that much this year. And then a protected first round pick this year, which probably is going to convey, but it's a mid first round pick. So, not that bad. I do agree with you. I think if you're the Warriors, this is the trade you make. It's a risk, but it's a risk worth taking. And from Miami, in a vacuum, like Jimmy Butler for Wiggins, Schroeder, Anderson, and a protected first doesn't really seem like a great return, but I think Miami's just happy to have him gone at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they're building like a nice length defensive team. Bam Adebayo, Khalil Ware, you add Wiggins to that. Like, they got something still there. They're going to be decent, but yeah, you had to get rid of Jimmy. He was going to walk in free agency regardless, so I don't really hate it from the Heat's perspective. Like you said, like Jimmy in a vacuum, just getting that back, it's like, that's all you're getting, but Jimmy's older, dude's a pain in the ass, and he's going to be getting paid a fuckload of money by the Warriors, so I completely understand giving him up for that. Warriors are going to be very interesting. I did see some people saying like the Celtics' worst nightmare in the finals. You have the Warriors who already beat them, and then you have Jimmy who just always gives them the work.
Oh, that's good.
I don't think they're going to make the finals, but again, it's another team in the Western Conference. Like,
they're not even in like the playoffs as of today.
they're not, but like play in Jimmy, Steph.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to doubt them. And I don't think they're beating OKC or anything.
Nah.
Not even the Grizzlies probably, but like a team like the Rockets or something, I think it gets interesting.
So our last trade involving an all-star was late Wednesday night when the Pelicans sent Brandon Ingram to Toronto. They got back Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, a first-round pick, and a second-round pick. I just remember seeing this on my phone and being like, why did the Raptors do this? I get like, okay, you want to load up on lengthy wings, like that's fine, but Ingram can be a free agent this summer if he wants to. He's already on $36 million a year, so he probably is going to want more than that. So do you really want to pay Ingram that much money with like the oppressive new salary cap rules we have?
I'm a little bit more favorable for the Raptors on this. I think Ingram's not getting like 40 million. I think he's getting maybe around what he's getting right now, maybe even a little bit less. I could be wrong. I mean, you get another wing. They're obsessed with length there for some reason, but you get another wing, RJ Barrett, you got Scotty Barnes. They're still going to be tanking this year, so they're still going to get a good pick. So, you know, you're locking up some money now. Do I love what the Raptors are building? No, but I think they could be good. They got some good veterans now, and then they have these young players, so it's a nice mix there. I don't think it's the worst for the Raptors.
Yeah, Pelicans perspective, like the return's not bad, but I'm a little surprised they stood pat on Thursday. Like I really thought they were going to flip Bruce Brown again to like a contender because he's on an expiring deal. And so, I mean, you miss out on an opportunity maybe to cash in on him. And then outside of that, you bring in Kelly Olynyk and a first round pick. Like it's not a lot, but considering Ingram didn't want to be there, was on an expiring deal and has barely played this season too, he could have gotten worse.
Yeah, the Pelicans, I'm more confused on their perspective. You're right. They could have gotten worse. Probably weren't going to re-sign him, but this whole like team they built over that offseason, you saw the picks of CJ, Murray, BI, Zion. It just all fell apart. It didn't even ever get started, actually.
No.
I was going to say it took a month. It never got started.
All right, right now, just a quick lightning round for some other notable trades that went down, but we don't have time to go like fully in depth with all of them. First one, Bucks trade Chris Middleton for Kyle Kuzma. Like I get Middleton's not the all-star he used to be, but at the same time, they gave up him and a pick swap for a guy in Kyle Kuzma who the Wizards were significantly better when he was on the bench.
I mean, I guess Kyle Kuzma's more available. That's the logic there, but at the same time,
He's not very good.
Yeah, that big three still isn't going to do much. At least with Middleton, you got championship experience. Middleton can still ball out. We saw that in the playoffs last year. Just confusing for the Bucks. Then the Lakers get Mark Williams. I was actually a pretty big fan of this move for the Lakers. Some people not as much. They send out Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, 2031 unprotected first, 2030 swap. My logic here is 2030 swap. Hornets are going to be the worst team. I'm completely confident in that. 2031 with Luka there, you have to expect that's going to be a late first. Who knows? Williams, there's the injury concerns, but he fits both timelines, helps him now, helps him in the future, can catch lobs. I like the move. The Lakers got their big. What about you?
Yeah, I think it was the right move considering the center market. Like, who else was available? Valanciunas and Nurk? I think it's a better idea to take a risk on, you know, a young athletic big who can catch lobs, like you were saying, from Luka, from LeBron, rather than go with one of these, you know, slower, lumbering traditional bigs. And finally, the Cavs gearing up for their playoff run by adding DeAndre Hunter. I actually called this one in the New Year's resolution vid. Cavs get Hunter in exchange for Karis LeVert, George Niang, 3 second-round picks, and 2 pick swaps. I personally think it's a great deal for both sides. Like, for Atlanta, as good as Hunter's been this season, he's really, really injury prone. Also, they had a logjam at small forward with Risa Shea, Jalen Johnson, and Hunter. So cash in on Hunter when his value's at the highest. And Cleveland, as long as Hunter stays healthy, they get a really versatile, exciting wing to add to their roster. So I think it's a great trade for both sides.
Yeah, I really like it for Cleveland. Yeah, and Hunter, they had plateaued a bit. So this gives them a little bit more. George Niang wasn't playing the best ball recently. Karis LeVert had that one dud the other night that I guess got him traded. I mean, from the Hawks side, yeah, I get what you're saying, like cash in on a guy who's had injury concerns, but it just kind of feels like the Hawks are tanking right now and they don't have their first round pick. Like again, the San Antonio Spurs come out huge winners of this trade deadline and they didn't even have to do anything here.
So to finish this all up, while plenty of players did get traded, there were a couple big ones that didn't, and by far the biggest one that didn't was Kevin Durant. He was all over rumors going into deadline day, most prominently with his old team in Golden State, although apparently a couple other teams did inquire about him. For a while, it felt like it might actually happen, and then Shams came out and just torpedoed any chance of this deal happening. Probably got a call from KD himself and was like, I don't want to go back to the Bay. And look, if you're KD, I get it.
Yeah, I completely completely get that. It just feels depressing for KD at this point. Like, for the Nets, it looked like he had his opportunity to, win his title on his own. Of course, it doesn't happen there. The Suns are a dumpster fire. I guess he could get traded, win somewhere this offseason. Who knows, but it is kind of sad. I completely understand not wanting to go back to the Warriors. He's going to be in Steph's shadow. Completely get that, but I just feel bad for KD, and Suns fans, just look away. This is ugly.
Yeah, I mean, highest payroll in the league, all their first round picks basically dealt away. Had to deal another one away just to get rid of Yusuf Nurkic. Ouch.
And also, one of the biggest impacts, lasting impacts in the league this deadline had, besides just the crazy movement and everything that happened because of that, for the next couple of years, the fan trades on Twitter
gonna go crazy.
Yeah, they're gonna be seen as realistic, apparently. Like, for the next 3 years, Lakers fans constantly gonna be tweeting about how they're getting Wemby.
Yeah.
Because apparently any trade can happen. The Warriors were dreaming of Giannis. The Mavericks were looking at adding KD. I guess that's somewhat plausible. They wanted LeBron. Like,
I think the Warriors wanted LeBron too.
They did. I mean, the Warriors wanted LeBron past season. They wanted him this season. It's going to be fun just to see the delusion, but it's also going to be so damn annoying.
Yeah, going forward for the next couple trade deadlines, no suggestion is too stupid. That's the video, guys. What did you think of this NBA trade deadline? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving it a like, as it really does help us out. And while you're here, why not check out some of our other videos as well? And don't forget to subscribe to Synthetic Sports.